I never imagined I'd become the kind of husband who tallied excuses instead of memories. Yet there I was, sitting on the edge of our bed watching my wife, the same woman who once couldn't drift off without my arm around her. Read from a notepad. 10 reasons why she wasn't in the mood anymore. A real handwritten list. Number 1, I'm tired. Number 2, it's not you, it's just my hormones. Number 3, you don't help enough around the house. On and on it went, each reason carving away what little connection we still had. I didn't interrupt. I've learned silence can reveal more than words ever do. But as she spoke, I couldn't ignore how composed she looked. Like this wasn't a crisis, just an item on a to-do list. Like our marriage had quietly turned into a roommate contract, and she was perfectly fine paying only her half of the emotional rent. When she finally finished, she looked up, waiting for some kind of reaction. I only asked one thing. So, is this permanent? She shrugged. I just don't feel that way anymore, Mark. Maybe someday it'll come back. But for now, can't we just be comfortable? Comfortable. That word hit harder than any argument we'd ever had. Comfort was for friends, not for the person who vowed to love you through everything. I nodded. No anger, no pleading. Just a quiet, all right then. You've got your 10 reasons. I'll think about mine. That night, sleep never came. I stared at the ceiling, replaying years of effort. Every dinner I cooked, every flower I bought, every attempt at conversation that died mid-sentence. That's when it hit me. I'd been nurturing something already dead. And as cruel as it sounded, love without effort is just betrayal wearing a slow disguise. By sunrise, I had my own list, 10 consequences. Not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. The next morning, I left for work without a word. No kiss, no coffee, no do you need anything? Just silence. When I came home that night, consequence number 1 began. I stopped being available. For years, I kept our life together. Groceries, bills, small repairs, even her car maintenance. All invisible acts of care she never acknowledged. That night, when she mentioned the leaky faucet, I simply said, add it to your list. Consequence number 2 came easily. No more emotional labor. When she vented about her coworkers, I listened, but didn't engage. I didn't comfort or offer advice. I treated her words like background noise, the same way she treated my affection. The third one was the hardest. I stopped reaching out. No more good morning texts, no gentle touches in passing. Nothing. The house grew colder, but not nearly as cold as her indifference had been. Within days, she noticed. Why are you acting distant? She asked. I smiled faintly. You wanted comfortable, remember? I'm just getting comfortable. It wasn't bitterness fueling me anymore. It was clarity. Years of chasing her warmth had left me hollow. So I began filling that emptiness with boundaries. I focused on my health, went back to the gym, reconnected with old friends, spent more time outside the house. That was consequence number 4. My attention was no longer hers by default. By number 5, I stopped including her in my plans. No dinner invites, no shared shows, no weekend suggestions. The silence that once haunted me now became my peace. When she finally confronted me, her voice trembled. I feel like you're punishing me. I met her eyes calmly. No, I'm just giving you what you asked for. A life without intimacy in every form. That's when the fear showed. She finally understood intimacy wasn't just touch. It was attention, effort, and connection. And she had killed all 3. By the second week, my silence had weight. Not the cold kind, but deliberate, peaceful. She began cooking again, asking about my day, wearing the perfume I once said I loved. I didn't respond. That was consequence number 6. Attention must be earned, not expected. When she reached for my hand at dinner, I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold on either. Her eyes watered, and for the first time in years, I saw confusion instead of confidence. She'd always believed I'd crawl back no matter how unseen I felt. This time, she was wrong. Consequence 7 came when she suggested a weekend together. I told her I already had plans with friends. The shock on her face said it all. She'd forgotten I could build a life that didn't orbit around her. Consequence 8 came quietly. I stopped defending her. When mutual friends asked how things were, I didn't sugarcoat it or protect her pride. I just said, we're figuring things out. She hated losing control of the story. By the 9th consequence, the power had shifted entirely. One night, she came to me crying. I feel invisible. I looked at her and said, that's how I felt for years. You just never noticed, because I kept showing up anyway. She begged for another chance. Promised change, therapy, affection, communication, all the things I'd been asking for long before she ever wrote down her reasons not to try. But I'd already written number 10, freedom. I told her I was moving out for a while, that I needed space to remember who I was before I became a man begging his own wife to see him. She tried to hold me, but I stepped back gently. You made a list of why you couldn't be close to me, I said. Now I'm giving you space to live with that choice. I packed a bag and left quietly. No shouting, no anger, just peace. Weeks later, she texted me saying she finally understood what she'd lost. But by then, I'd learned the hardest truth of all. Sometimes love doesn't end with hate. It ends when the begging stops.